Since way back in 2006, the BET Hip Hop Awards had the whole country locked in. Families tuned in, the black community showed out, and the stage was filled with the hottest names in the game. New artists were crowned, legends pulled up, and everybody wanted a piece of that shine.
Y'all, I am not happy about the Hip Hop Awards being canceled. Like, as somebody who grew up on hip hop and I'm obviously a rapper, this really hurts.
For a good while, it was the spot to be. Ratings climbing, money rolling, and rappers begging to hit that stage just to prove they had a place in the culture. The reason it mattered so much? Because the BET Hip Hop Awards wasn't just about trophies. It was about respect. It was about hip hop standing tall as a part of black culture, and if you touched that stage, the streets knew your name carried weight. That recognition wasn't just a pat on the back. It was status. It was history. It was culture being celebrated loud and proud. But now, bet ain't looking too good. The Soul Train Awards, which had been around since the 80s honoring R&B, is now struggling right alongside the BET Hip Hop Awards.
BET Hip Hop Awards got canceled or getting canceled. I mean, after last year's fiasco debacle of a show where they tried to make it like the goddamn club and had people in sections and the C-list and D-list of all goddamn hip-hop acts.
CEO Scott Mills tried to smooth it over, saying they're not cutting the shows, just reimagining them for today's media world. But that's just a fancy way of saying they falling off, and people are talking loud. Critics say the talent pool is watered down. Anybody can call themselves a rapper now, just like Jake Paul stepping in the boxing ring.
Performing, I mean, it's been on a decline for years, but to be honest, man, like, hip-hop itself has been on the decline for years. Like, the draw to that was like the top name artists and maybe the freestyles, but these new rappers don't freestyle anymore. All this be whack.
Sure, he's making money, but folks don't respect it. He's not raising the sport, he's lowering the bar. Same with rap. Popularity now outweighs real skill, and it shows. Look around. Streamers and YouTubers sliding into hip-hop with ease. Take DDG, for example. He started out on YouTube, and now he's dropping rap albums. Not everybody takes his music serious, but because he already had a big platform, the door swung wide open. The same goes for athletes too. If you've got clout, suddenly you're a rapper overnight.
I should have known something was up when the budget started getting even lower and lower. Like, did y'all not see last year's Hip Hop Awards? That mess look low budget AF. It sucks because we're literally witnessing hip hop like not become.
The industry's wide open, but not in a way that builds legends. It just makes it feel like anybody can buy their way into hip hop. And one more thing folks keep bringing up, artist development. That's a missing piece today that's killing the real growth of new talent. One of the biggest problems folks keep pointing out is the lack of real artist development in the industry. Back in the day, labels groomed rappers, sharpened their skills, and built careers brick by brick.
The number one or main genre that it was. It's so watered down. Anybody could be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have bars anymore. You don't have to have creativity or skill anymore.
Now, that foundation is gone and the cracks are showing. And trust me, she ain't the only one who sees it. Plenty of voices in the game are calling this out. Take a look at how weak things got with the BET Hip Hop Awards being held at Dre's Beach Club in Las Vegas. Instead of a grand stage, we got a nightclub setup that looked more like a watered-down club night than a world-class award show. The sponsorships were low, the money wasn't there, and the whole vibe screamed budget cuts instead of star power. That ain't the Hip Hop Awards energy people used to love. And when you look at the lineup, the talent pool is thinner than ever. The top-tier artists don't even want to show up anymore. Back when the industry was gate-kept, you needed a major label to break through.
Our big name artists, like our top artists, don't even come to the show no more. So I mean, who's gonna want to watch it? It's not making any money. We're not watching it as a culture. It's whack as a goddamn show as far as entertainment value is concerned.
Then the rise of independent artists changed the game, giving anybody a shot if they could build their own fan base. But now that freedom's being misused, people are skipping the artistry and chasing clout instead. Just look at Blueface. No shade to him, he's entertaining and I respect the hustle. But let's be real, the man is not known for groundbreaking bars. He's known for messy drama with Chrisean. That's what gets headlines, not his music. And she herself, she's in the spotlight more for chaos than for craft. The whole game is turning into a circus where the drama gets more attention than the records.
First of all, this is an era of hip-hop when the old rappers are better than the young ones. Come fight me.
What does that do? It drops the bar lower and lower. People still love hip-hop, they still listen. But when rappers get famous for fighting and foolery instead of rhymes, the genre loses respect. When Blueface and others like him climb the ladder off drama alone, it waters down the whole culture. And that's the sad truth about where hip-hop is headed right now.
So first, they didn't lead with playlist or radio. They debuted their songs at a
Another major problem, the industry don't build artists anymore. Nobody's grooming talent, nobody's sharpening skills, and that lack of artist development is killing the culture. And the wild thing is, she's not the only one pointing it out. Industry vets are saying the same thing, and they're not lying.
Pharrell, who is now LV's creative director, if you didn't know. Now, these songs on the album were teased a whole year before the album dropped. Second thing, instead of dropping merch when the album dropped, they were dropping merch a whole year before as well, building an ecosystem.
Look at how far the BET Hip Hop Awards slipped when they had to host it at Dre's Beach Club in Vegas. Instead of a world-class award stage, we got a watered-down nightclub setup that looked more like an after-party than a serious show. The sponsorship money was weak, budgets got slashed, and they had no choice but to squeeze big performances into a tiny club scene.
And they were releasing these in phases before the drop of the album.
That ain't hip-hop prestige, that's hip-hop on clearance. And the talent problem runs even deeper. The best rappers don't even care to show up anymore. Back then, the game was gate-kept. You had to sign with a label. You had to prove yourself. Then came the rise of independence, which gave artists the power to break through on their own if they had the fan base. But instead of building skills, too many people just build clout. Take Blueface, for example. No hate, he's entertaining and he's got his lane. But let's be real, he's not respected for bars. He's respected for drama with Chrisean. The spotlight is more on his beefs than his rhymes. And she's in the game too, but everybody knows her more for wild antics than music. That's what hip-hop has become. Mess sells, not music. What happens when that's the focus? The bar drops lower and lower. People still love rap, they still play it daily. But when headlines are about fights, baby mama drama, or social media beef instead of lyrical talent, the art form gets watered down. And when rappers like Blueface and others slide in on clout, the respect for the genre takes a hit. That's the harsh reality. Now compare that to the Clipse dropping their latest album, Let the Lord Watch. These dudes are in their 40s, but they're still making music sharper than most of these 20-year-olds. Back in the 90s and 2000s, hip-hop was a war zone of talent. Wu-Tang, Snoop, Pac, Biggie, Nas, Jay-Z, everybody was top tier. Rappers in the 90s leveled up from the 80s, skills evolved, brands exploded, and then the 2000s opened new doors. Trap out of Atlanta and Memphis, Midwest waves, and legends like Lil Wayne out of New Orleans putting their city on the map. That era gave us variety, rawness, and lyrical bloodsport. Now, today's rappers can't hold a candle to that. And because modern artists don't develop, fans look backward, celebrating the past. Look at Verzuz. Whenever it came on IG Live, the whole world tuned in. Even today's biggest stars sat in the comments showing love because they knew they were watching real artistry. That's why people run back to the Clipse. Even in their 40s, they're making better music than kids half their age. And the reason? Planning and experience. The Clipse teamed up with Louis Vuitton, and Pharrell, one of the greatest producers of all time, gave them that golden touch. Back when he and Chad Hugo ran the Neptunes, they laid the blueprint. Add in collaborations with Billionaire Boys Club and proper rollout strategies. They were building anticipation a year before the music even dropped. That's next level development. That's foresight. That's mastery. Older rappers don't just have better bars. They've got more business sense, more connections, and way more control over the game. They're proving that talent plus experience will always outshine hype. What's even crazier is how the BET Hip Hop Awards went from being the place where legends touch the stage to now struggling to even pull top talent. Back in the golden days, you'd see Kanye storming the set, Jay-Z sending shockwaves, or Lil Wayne tearing down the stage with energy nobody could match. The performances were unforgettable, moments that made headlines and had fans talking for weeks. But now, the vibe feels lazy, like the show is just coasting along with whoever's available instead of chasing the biggest names in the game. It's not just about who's missing either. It's about what the audience is being fed. Instead of groundbreaking collabs or iconic ciphers that made people respect the craft, we're seeing recycled performances and watered-down sets. The ciphers used to be the highlight. Every rapper wanted that mic time because it was raw, it was lyrical combat, and it showed who could really spit. Today, half the ciphers feel like throwaway verses written last minute, with barely any hunger behind them. That's not what the fans signed up for. And let's be real, sponsorship plays a big role in all this. When brands stop cutting big checks, the show loses its shine. Production gets cheaper, stage designs get smaller, and the whole event feels like a downgraded version of what it used to be. That's why you end up with the nightclub vibe instead of a stadium-level spectacle. If the money ain't there, the magic ain't there either. Another problem? The newer generation of rappers doesn't value the BET stage the same way the older generation did. For artists in the 2000s, performing at the Hip Hop Awards was like a rite of passage. It stamped you as official in the culture. Now, with social media and festivals giving them bigger platforms, a lot of these rappers don't even bother showing up. They don't see the BET stage as a crown anymore. They see it as optional. And that attitude hurts the show's credibility. So what happens? Instead of Drake, Kendrick, or J. Cole pulling up, we're getting filler acts who might be hot online but can't command a stage like the legends. The excitement is gone, the prestige is slipping, and the BET Hip Hop Awards is losing its grip as the centerpiece of the culture. What used to be a celebration of greatness is now feeling like an afterthought. And that's a dangerous sign for hip-hop's biggest night. While older legends focused on building careers with strategy, these newer rappers chase clout on YouTube and TikTok like that's the only goal. Damn. The problem is, when all you want is clicks and views, the culture loses its backbone. And that's exactly what's happening to the BET Hip Hop Awards. It's suffering a straight-up dramatic decline. The numbers don't lie. Nielsen reports show the BET Hip Hop Awards lost over 30% of their live TV audience since 2015. And by 2025, the show's ratings dropped another 50% compared to the previous year. That's a collapse, not just a slip. Oh, hell no. When you can't bring in viewers, the sponsors pack up and leave. No ratings means no money, and no money means no brand wants their name tied to a show nobody's watching. And when the sponsors leave, the culture itself moves on without the show. Fans start looking elsewhere for talent, and other platforms start filling the gap. The BET Hip Hop Awards, once a cultural reference point, is now barely in the conversation. That's how fast the ground shifts when the foundation is weak. Part of the blame falls on poor planning too. BET keeps trying to introduce new faces without really nurturing them or making them stand out. The truth is, these award shows often catered to gatekeepers instead of the streets. But now those gatekeepers aren't innovating. They're recycling the same ideas, and the audience is tired of it. Sponsors dry up, ratings fall, and suddenly both the BET Awards and the Soul Train Awards are fighting for survival. But here's the thing, they still have a chance if they go back to what made hip-hop great in the first place. They gotta bring back real culture, real competition, and make the game a meritocracy again. Artists like Drake and Kendrick Lamar didn't blow up just because of clout. They had undeniable talent, hits, and artistry that demanded respect. That's what hip-hop was built on. But nowadays, everybody's just copying each other, and the originality is gone.